Secretary of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, and a very pleasant good afternoon to my colleagues and to those that take an interest in what we do here in this honorable house. The motion before us says, whereas the current structure of the Tobago House of Assembly consists of 15 electoral districts represented by electoral or by elected assemblymen, and whereas the Tobago House of Assembly is responsible for all areas outlined in the 5th schedule of the Act 40 of 1996, excuse me, and whereas the current funding mechanisms do not always allow for the direct district prioritization and execution of projects, and whereas solid representation is based on each assemblyman being able to effectively represent his or her district child by child, family by family, and village by village, be it resolved that this administration implements a process of direct district funding of no less than $150,000 per annum to be placed under the purview of area representatives / assemblymen, and be it further resolved that a bipartisan team reviews the policy to develop by the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport before its execution. Madam Presiding Officer, I am humbled by the privilege afforded me to move a motion which, in my view, has the potential to revolutionize the way we organize ourselves, to involve wider community participation in our quest to develop this beautiful piece of paradise we call Tobago. During the election campaign of December 2021, we pledged that we will be the first government on the island to introduce what is known around Commonwealth parliamentary systems as a constituency development fund. In our instance, it will be called the Electoral District Development Fund. According to the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association's Handbook on Constituency Development Funds, Principles and Tools for Parliamentarians, constituency development funds provide another opportunity to fulfill our mandate to support parliamentarians, and in our case, area reps, and their staff to identify benchmarks of good governance in accordance with the enduring values of the Commonwealth. Commonwealth governments in Africa, the Caribbean, the Pacific, Southeast Asia, and India have all adopted constituency development funds over the past quarter century. Constituency development funds are called by different names in different countries and are organized according to prevailing national institutional practice. They vary widely in size, type of program, and means of organization. On the other hand, they have become popular tools of governance that have enabled parliamentarians, and of course in our case will enable assemblymen and area reps to influence the delivery of services in the districts and constituencies throughout the various jurisdictions. CDFs, Madam Presiding Officer, provide bursaries for students, support the development of small infrastructural projects in constituencies, and help to finance the construction of clinics, schools, and community centers, etc. Globally, constituency development funds were first adopted in India. Ghana's CDFs was instituted in 1996, Kenya in 2003, and then, of course, CDFs spread to other African countries across the world thereafter. Right here in the Commonwealth Caribbean, Jamaica started their CDF in 2008. Members of the Jamaican Parliament are provided with financial resources to execute approved social and economic programs within their constituencies. The main thrust of the fund is to promote infrastructural development and the communities and the at the constituency level, community and constituency level, through the establishment of sustainable development projects. According to International Budget Partnership, constituency development fund schemes are decentralization initiatives that send funds from central government to each constituency for the expenditure on development projects intended to address particular local needs. A key feature of CDF schemes is that of where members of Parliament, and of course in our case here in the Assembly, typically exert some degree of control over how funds are spent. This is a critical point. These funds are designed to support constituency-level grassroots development projects. They are aimed at achieving equitable distribution of development resources across districts and to control imbalances in the development brought about by partisan politics. I think I need to say that again.
Yeah.
These funds are designed to support constituency-level grassroots development projects. They are aimed at achieving equitable distribution of development resources across districts and to control imbalances in developments brought about by partisan politics. Yes. These funds target all constituency-level development projects, particularly those aiming to combat poverty at the grassroots. Madam Presiding Officer, as I noted earlier, in the case of Tobago, we propose to call these funds Electoral District Development Fund. In explaining further what the Electoral District Development Fund is about, I will first endeavor to explain what the fund is not. It is not a fund to be placed directly into the hands of area representatives or their district office staff. It is not a fund for which its rules of engagement would be decided solely and individually by area representatives. It is not a fund to facilitate social support in areas where social support programs already exist. It is not a fund that will be accessed without adherence to financial rules and regulations of the Tobago House of Assembly. And I put a little note here, repeat twice. It is not a fund that will be accessed without adherence to financial rules and regulations of the Tobago House of Assembly. It is not a fund that will be kept in a bank account outside of the T.H.A's accounts. It is not a fund to be used by any party group or action group or any political party. Additionally, it is not a fund to give to some districts and not others. It is for all districts.
So it does cover.
So whether you are a minority, and if I may coin a phrase, majority, the fund is for you. It is not the same thing as the constituency office fund that is currently available through the work of the House Committee and is meant to treat with the payment of staff and district offices and purchase of stationery and payment of utilities and so on. Rather, Madam Presiding Officer, this electoral district fund is a fund designed to provide relief to issues plaguing people at the grassroots. The fund will start relatively small, then will be reviewed after 1 year of its existence. And of course, you will hear the term parliamentary because of where the reference comes from. Involvement at the grassroots community development level has grown considerably across the Commonwealth countries. We here in Tobago are just the latest in this global trend. Simply put, we are like the new kids on the block as it relates to this matter. Electoral District Development Fund is a legitimate mechanism for development. This will facilitate the legitimate connection between elected members of this House and their respective districts. A central hope behind this fund is that local input will promote better targeting of projects to the needs of the constituents, promote more attention to project implementation, place more focus on holding government officials responsible for results by giving the capacity for development to area representatives whose electoral fate will be locally determined. Truth be told. I suspect an acid question that will come to the fore is how would this fund work? Madam Presiding Officer, we on this side envisage a fund where the electoral district, with final sign-off and recommendations from area reps, will have access to funds and or materials for community projects that will be completed or executed by the community. Area reps will be required to pull their respective districts together under the umbrella of an entity that we will call district councils by engaging village councils, sports groups, religious organizations, environmental groups, schools, and community-based organizations, and in reviewing the projects that the district desires. These community projects can range from building of ramps for the elderly and the disabled, to beautifying public spaces, sponsoring of equipment and uniform for sport groups, training and capacity building for fishermen and farmers, among numerous other possibilities. Once the project is conceived and brought to the area representatives' attention via a prescribed format, the area rep will affix his or her recommendations and send the request to the Division of Community Development, Youth Development, and Sport. Supporting documents such as quotations must also be attached to allow for the division to properly process and the submission and to honor same. Madam Presiding Officer, we do not want to overprescribe on this matter at this stage, because we propose to convene a special team of the House members on both sides, both the majority and the minority, and so that we can massage the rules of engagement for this proposal. And at this point, I really want to say that when we were given this responsibility by the Honorable Chief Secretary, and I have to commend staff at the division that jumped right in and began to work on what we now have a draft, a 22-page document that will help to kind of chart the course, and this debate, in my view, is going to contribute to the crystallizing of this final document. You know, as a government, we could have said, you know, we're going to do this, and this is what we're going to do. But because of the gravity of this matter, we felt it was necessary to have input from the minority side. And I know that whatever is shared today, good, bad, or indifferent, will impact the final document. Notwithstanding, Madam Presiding Officer, it will be remiss of me not to inform this Honorable House that in the conceptualization, or conceptualizing rather, of the Electoral District Development Fund and the district councils, as proposed earlier in my presentation, the following general principles of good governance recommended by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association for consideration when such funds are being established were rigorously observed. And these were responsiveness, transparency, administration and management, accountability, oversight, or rather accountability and oversight, monitoring and evaluation. Importantly, Madam Presiding Officer, this administration will adopt into this policy those tools in the toolbox created by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association for the use of this fund. It is for this reason that copies of the handbook created by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association will be distributed electronically and subsequent to this debate. I thank you.